Well, I started dancing when I was 3, and I went to my cousin's dance school. She was called Pamela Buxton in Tower Street, behind the Tower, actually. So I auditioned for the Tower Ballet. I think I sang on the sunny side of the street. I got the job, and with the Tower Ballet, there's like first chorus, second chorus, first principal, second principal, and I was in the first chorus. After school, we used to take our sandwiches, and we used to eat our sandwiches in the roof gardens of the tower. The roof gardens isn't there anymore, and we used to rehearse on the ballroom floor, and we used to do it for the whole of the summer. We had like aunties behind the scenes that used to look after us, like Auntie Jean, Auntie Linda, and everybody, and Mrs. Buck was in charge, and we always used to wear little white socks because we were children. So there were strict rules on the Tower Ballet, but beautiful costumes and lovely songs and learning all the routines. It was nice. Well, after the Tower Ballet, I was 16 and I went to the circus, and it was Mary Cregan that was the choreographer there. And we had another Auntie Barbara Barnes, and she was in charge of us. And we had beautiful costumes. I think the costumes were made by the Tower Company in them days. And it was Bernard Crabtree that was running the circus in those days, and we used to go around with billboards and introduce the acts. We were known as the circusettes. There is circusettes today, but I think they just do routines. We used to do the acts around the side and then do some dancing as well. I got chosen to be in the Charlie Cairoli act. It was a bridesmaid scene. Old Paul King was getting married to Jimmy Buchanan. He was the one with ping pong balls in his tights, and he came on and Charlie was making the cake, and we were the bridesmaids, and we'd sit at either and he'd, with this, you know what I mean? You'd get all sloshed and everything. It was a bride scene, really. Here comes the bride, da, 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 da. And we were the bridesmaids, and we did it all season. So I was lucky enough to be in that comedy act. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Well, after the circus, I went to the Pleasure Beach. Now, they don't have dancers on the stage anymore. It was run by Miss Murdson then, and there were skaters, and then there was dancers on the stage and speciality acts as well. So I did a season at the Pleasure Beach. Well, I worked on the North Pier with Mike and Bernie Winters. It was a Scottish show with Andy Stewart, Sidney Devine and Johnny Ball. The South Pier was with Russ Abbott and the Black Abbots, Roy Walker, Kenny Smiles and Linda Nolan. So anybody remembers the Stardust Gardens, it was a lovely show. I did that show for 3 years. Billy Petch, the choreographer, that used to do the Stardust in Las Vegas, actually, and used to do the Talk of the Town in London. I got a proper job then. I was working in a shop. It was part-time because my daughter was growing up, and I was working then. I worked there for a good few years. Somebody said, I believe they're looking for another Roly Poly. I said, well, don't look at me. I'm always on a diet, you know what I mean? Don't look at me. Anyway, this particular day I was in Merchantman, and Marie Ashton, one of the Roly Polies, came, and she was peering through the window like that, and I thought, oh my goodness, that's Marie Ashton. And she came in and she said, your name was given to me, and I was wondering, Sandy, would you be interested in auditioning? We've been auditioning, but would you like to audition for the Rollies? So that night we made arrangements, and I went to get my tap shoes out the loft, brought them down, and she came and she was showing me some of the routines. And she said, yes, I'm sure you'll be fine. You got the gist of this and that. But we have to be back to 5 at the Dominion Theatre because we're only 3 because 2 of the ladies retired. But she said, I can only offer you 6 weeks' work. I said, well, that's all right, because you can always get a job in the summer season in Blackpool, even in hotels or anywhere, That 6 weeks actually turned into 16 years. Well, Les actually thought of the Roly Polies in the first place, you know what I mean? He wanted not just thin girl dancers, he wanted all shapes and sizes, cuddly ones and everything. And when I got the job and I was in London, he actually came into the room and he welcomed me and Pat. He said, welcome aboard, ladies. I hope you're going to have a happy time. Nice to meet you. He was the nicest man. It was such a great loss when we lost Les Dawson. It really, really was. I never thought I'd get to work at nearly every theatre in Blackpool. I'm like the North Pier, the Central Pier, the South Pier. The ABC I've worked with Larry Grayson and Orville, Keith Harrison Orville, with the Pamela Davis dancers, And then I've done the Winter Gardens twice, once with Maura Anderson and Tom O'Connor. That was the year the Tillers took over that year. We had to learn the Tiller routine. Of course, I've done the Tower Ballet and the Tower Circus, and also the Pleasure Beach, when they had dancers at the skating ring. All the theatres are in my heart, really. I've worked everywhere.